AITA for leaving all my groceries at the register when the cashier refused to sell me alcohol. Abundance and Bounty are two supermarket chains, both with stores 20 minutes away from me and 15 apart from each other. I, 33 meters, usually go to Abundance unless I want something I can only get at Bounty. And I haven't been asked for ID when buying alcohol in over 8 years at either store, or anywhere else for that matter. I went to Abundance yesterday to buy my weekly groceries, and picked up a 6-pack of beer to enjoy on the weekend. I set the beers down in front of my other groceries on the conveyor belt, then moved to the other side to start packing. The cashier saw the beer and asked me for ID. I told him I didn't have my ID on me, and he told me he couldn't sell me the beer and placed it to one side. I politely said, "Okay, no problem. Have a nice day," then walked away, leaving all my groceries on the conveyor belt. I didn't take anything. As I walked away, he shouted, "Excuse me, sir?" Quote, but I saw no reason to waste time on continuing a discussion because he already made his decision. And I understand how strict they need to be when it comes to alcohol and ID. My mother worked in a liquor store for several years. To be very clear, I did not do this to get back at him, but rather because it meant I needed to go to Bounty to get the beer. And it didn't make sense to drag all my heavy groceries from Abundance to Bounty when I could just get the same groceries from Bounty, including the beer. I also figured carrying bags of groceries from Abundance around Bounty wasn't wise because it might raise suspicions of shoplifting. So I went from Abundance to Bounty, bought everything I needed from Bounty including the beer, then went home. When I got back, my girlfriend asked why I took so long, and after explaining it, she said I was an asshole for making things difficult for the staff at Abundance, because they would need to restock all my stuff and possibly throw things away. I don't know if that last part is true, but she knows someone who works in a similar store and explained that they're pretty strict on how long certain products are allowed to be outside the freezers, refrigerators. She also said it was extremely rude that I just walked away when the cashier was trying to talk to me. I asked what she would have done, but she didn't have an answer besides just coming home without the beer. But I don't see that as a solution. ATIA? Edit. Since everyone keeps asking why I didn't bring ID, the only ID I own is my passport and I don't want to risk it getting lost or stolen. I also didn't think it was necessary considering I hadn't been asked for ID in over 8 years. The cashier did his job, so I left my groceries for him to clean up after me. YTA, and you know it. How is it his fault that you didn't have any ID to prove your age? You for sure know that you can't buy alcohol as a minor. And you for sure know that this poor guy had to take all those groceries back to where they belong to. All of this because your lazy ass couldn't bring an ID or buy the groceries and buy the alcohol at the other store or put the groceries back and then go buy them at the other place. YTA. I'm not buying that you didn't leave your stuff there to inconvenience them for not selling you alcohol without an ID. I will edit to add that if you didn't drive, then I understand not wanting to carry all of that to and around the next store, I guess. But you could have put it back yourself. But still, YTA. You just kept walking when they tried to talk to you. You were clearly being rude about it. Regardless if they have never asked before, they have every right to require ID to sell alcohol. They did nothing wrong to you. YTA, don't be such a jerk. Of course you left your groceries there to get back at him because you went to the other store and had to shop all over again, when you could have zipped into the second store for beer. Asshole. YTA, you could have bought the groceries and then just stopped for beer somewhere else. Someone had to put those away for you. You say you don't have a DL. You can still get an ID that's not a driver's license that has only your date of birth and other personal information. You state you know how strict the laws are, yet you still continue to try and purchase alcohol without an ID. I work as a grocer, and I would think someone walking away during a transaction would be rude AF. You essentially had a tantrum for not getting your way. YTA. YTA who leaves anywhere without ID? I only have a passport, like they don't make IDs that are for just identification purposes. I don't want to lose my passport, so get a passport card instead. I think you have operated off the guise people will give you passes for knowing you and it failed. YTA for being rude to the cashier when they were just doing their job. They were in no way rude to you. YTA. Of course you left it there to inconvenience them. Otherwise you would have looked back when they called you. You were just rude. You're 3-3. Grow up. YTA and I will explain why. You left in the middle of a conversation and ignored the employee completely when he called you. I understand why you wouldn't want to buy the groceries at the store anymore. But the least you could do is let the employee know about this instead of just walking away. For all he knew, you might go to your car to get your license or something. All it needed for ANTA would be to politely tell the employee that in that case you wouldn't buy the groceries and you're sorry about it. After all, you're the one walking around without an ID on you, so it's your fault. YTA for 2 reasons. Other people already mentioned your atrocious manners in the store, so I won't address that any further. The other one is that you live in the Netherlands, where carrying some form of ID, either a passport from any country or ID card from a EU country, on your person and mandated by law. No one will stop you on the street to check if you're actually doing it. But you're still breaking the law. And if you're ever in a scenario where you'll need to prove your identity to law enforcement and you fail to present a valid document, you will be fined. You literally had no excuse to not be able to ID yourself in the store because by law you should have been able to. And then when you didn't get your way, you acted like a total asshole. YTA. You left the cashier hanging, man. That's rude. Just because you were miffed. You say it wasn't revenge. But why be harsh if it's not? You left them with a belt full of groceries. Who was going to clean up your mess? A grocery fairy? YTA. You say that you didn't leave everything there and ignore him to be petty. But I'm sure the cashier didn't see it that way. YTA. You definitely did it as retaliation on the employee. You now have to redo the grocery shopping, which is definitely more work than just taking home everything and making one more quick stop for beer somewhere else. YTA. Why were you so insistent on buying beer but didn't even have an ID on you? You should be getting ID checked every time you make a purchase. And if you are in your 30s, you definitely could look younger and could confuse a new cashier who doesn't know you. You have a very entitled view of the world. Info. Where are you from? Some places have very strict laws regarding IDing for alcohol. YTA. You're either lying about being in the Netherlands or you haven't bothered to learn the laws of the country you're living in. YTA. You acted like a toddler who didn't get a candy bar. The poor cashier was just doing his job, and you decided that a fit punishment would be to leave him to restock all the groceries. Because how dare he inconvenience you by not breaking the law? I feel like everyone is focusing on the wrong thing here. YTA. Not for not having your ID. And not even necessarily for choosing to not proceed with the rest of the transaction. Although that is a bit ridiculous as well. You added more time and work to your shopping by not just getting what you could and stopping for just the beer. But YTA for not just talking to the cashier and asking if it would be okay to leave your groceries. Could they put them up? YTA. You should have checked first. ID laws are nothing new. And it's very tacky and low-brow of you to do what you did. YTA. I am a Dutch cashier. We have to card you if you look 25 years or younger. Up to the cashier. As soon as we ask you for ID, you have to show us or no alcohol. The cashier can get fired and the store can get a €10 fine if they don't ask. In the Netherlands you have to carry an ID by law. You will get a fine if the police ask. You should have just bought the rest of the stuff and go to another store for the alcohol or put your stuff back.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.